Imagine carrying a wound that no one can see but you feel every single day. You go about your life smiling, working, showing up for the world, but deep down you know a part of you is still bleeding. Heartbreak isn't just about lost love. It could be the betrayal of a friend, the disappointment of someone you trusted, or even the failure of something you gave your all to. And here's the truth, most people won't tell you. That pain you're carrying is not going to disappear on its own. You can bury it, you can run from it, you can distract yourself with noise and chaos, but it will always find a way back to you until you face it head on. What if I told you that your heart already knows how to heal, but the only thing standing in the way is your unwillingness to let go of what's holding you back? Think about it. How many nights have you stayed awake replaying the same memories, searching for answers that never come, waiting for someone else to give you closure? What if closure never arrived? What if the truth is that you are the only one who can decide when it's time to heal, when it's time to move forward? You see, the greatest trap of heartbreak isn't the pain itself, it's the illusion that you're powerless against it. That you're not powerless, you have more strength than you realize. Healing your heart isn't about forgetting the past. It's about taking the past and using it as fuel to build a future that no longer chains you to yesterday's hurt. So the question I want to leave hanging in your mind as we begin is this. Are you ready to stop letting your pain define you and instead let it refine you? Because moving on isn't about losing someone or something. It's about winning yourself back. And when you finally do that, you'll realize that your broken heart was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of a stronger, more unshakable you. The first step toward healing is the one that most people avoid, and that is to acknowledge the pain instead of pretending it isn't there. We live in a world that teaches us to keep moving, to distract ourselves, to stay busy enough that we never sit with what's hurting us. But here's the hard truth. Ignoring your pain doesn't make it disappear. It just buries it deeper. And whatever you bury alive eventually finds its way back to the surface. The heartbreak you don't face today will show up in your tomorrow, through bitterness, through trust issues, through walls you build so high that no one can reach you. It takes incredible courage to admit that you are hurt. Most people think that admitting pain is weakness, when in reality, it is one of the strongest things you can do. When you say, yes, I'm hurting. Yes, this broke me. You're not surrendering. You're taking the first step toward reclaiming control. Because healing is not denial. Healing is confrontation. You have to look your pain in the eye, name it, and accept it before you can ever begin to release it. Think about it this way. If you had a physical wound and refused to look at it, refused to clean it, refused to treat it, what would happen? It would get infected, spread, and cause you even more damage. Emotional wounds are no different. The more you ignore them, the more power they gain over you. But the moment you acknowledge them, the moment you say, this is real, this is mine, I am going to face it, that wound loses its grip. Because now, instead of running from it, you are tending to it. And let me tell you something powerful. Your heart has an incredible capacity to heal. It is not fragile glass that shatters forever. It is a muscle that grows stronger through resistance, through struggle, through breaking and rebuilding. Acknowledging your pain is like setting the bone in place before it can heal properly. It might hurt to face it. It might feel unbearable at times. But it is the only way to ensure that you don't spend the rest of your life carrying an open wound inside of you. When you stop running from your pain, you stop letting it chase you. You stand still, you face it, and you tell yourself, this will not define me. This will not break me. This will teach me. And that shift, the moment you choose truth over denial, is where your healing truly begins. One of the biggest reasons people stay stuck in heartbreak is because they romanticize what hurt them. We cling to the memories of laughter, the good times, the sweet words, and we replay them over and over until they drown out the reality of what actually happened. Our minds edit the past like a highlight reel, showing only the moments that made us feel loved, wanted, or valued, while conveniently muting the parts where we were betrayed, neglected, or left behind. And because of this, we convince ourselves that we lost something perfect, when in truth, what we lost was not aligned with the love or respect we deserve. The danger of romanticizing the past is that it keeps you locked in a cycle of illusion. You begin to worship a version of someone that doesn't exist anymore, or maybe never really did. You fall in love with the idea of what could have been instead of accepting what actually was. This false attachment is like a chain around your heart, pulling you back into the very pain you're trying to escape. Every time you idealize what broke you, you give it power again. And the more power you give it, the harder it becomes to move forward. At some point, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Was it really as good as you remember, or are you holding on to a fantasy because it feels safer than facing the truth? Did that person or situation truly honor you, or are you filling in the gaps with your imagination? It's easy to glorify the good moments, but here's the reality: you don't walk away from something that was consistently good for you. Something happened, something fractured, something left you bleeding. That is the truth you must hold on to, not the illusion you've built in your mind. When you stop romanticizing what broke you, you finally make room for clarity. You allow yourself to see the full picture, not just the painted version your heart wants to cling to. And clarity is powerful because it frees you. It reminds you that you're not missing out on something perfect. You're freeing yourself from something imperfect that no longer served you. It shifts your perspective from "I lost something valuable" to "I released something that was holding me back." The past will always whisper, tempting you with what felt good, but don't confuse temporary comfort with lasting truth. The love you deserve isn't one that leaves you broken. The opportunities meant for you won't destroy your peace. When you stop idolizing the very thing that hurt you, you take your power back, and you open the door to something far greater than what you've been replaying in your memory. Forgiveness is one of the hardest steps in healing because it feels unfair. It feels like letting someone off the hook for what they did to you. Your heart screams, "Why should I forgive when they never apologized? Why should I forgive when they didn't care about the pain they caused?" And that's where so many people get stuck, because they believe forgiveness is about the other person. But the truth is, forgiveness has nothing to do with them. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to those who hurt you. It is a gift you give to yourself. Think about it. Every time you replay what happened, every time you let bitterness live inside your heart, you are still tied to the very thing you want freedom from. The anger and resentment become chains. They weigh you down. They keep you reliving the same pain long after the moment has passed. And the worst part is, the person who hurt you doesn't even carry that burden. You do. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was okay. Forgiveness is saying, "I will not let what they did destroy me any longer." It's a declaration of freedom. When you forgive, you cut the invisible cord that binds you to your past. You take your power back. You stop allowing someone else's actions to dictate your peace of mind. Forgiveness doesn't erase the memory. It doesn't change what happened, but it changes your relationship with it. Instead of being a prisoner of the past, you become the master of it. Instead of letting it haunt you, you allow it to teach you, and then you move on. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. You think you're punishing them, but in reality, you're only hurting yourself. Every ounce of energy you spend hating, resenting, and clinging to anger is energy you could be using to build your future, to love yourself, to create the life you deserve. Forgiveness frees up that energy. It unclogs the heart so love and peace can flow again. And here's the most powerful part. You don't need their apology to forgive. You don't need their acknowledgement, their regret, or their remorse. You hold the key. You decide when enough is enough. Forgiveness is not about waiting for justice to be served. It's about choosing to no longer be a victim of your past. So when you forgive, you're not letting them win. You're winning. You're saying, "You may have hurt me once, but I refuse to let you hurt me for the rest of my life." That is the power of forgiveness. It is the ultimate act of reclaiming your freedom. There comes a point in healing where you must decide what to do with all the energy that was once tied to your pain. Heartbreak consumes you, mentally, emotionally, even physically. It drains your strength because your thoughts circle endlessly around what happened, who hurt you, and what you lost. But what if you chose to redirect that energy? What if you stopped pouring it into the past and instead invested it into your own growth. That is where transformation begins. Not in forgetting, but in rebuilding yourself into someone stronger than before. Every ounce of energy you spend reliving the past is energy you could use to create your future. You can take the hours you've wasted scrolling through old photos, replaying conversations, or analyzing every detail and channel them into something that serves you. Exercise your body. Read books that expand your mind. Start that project you've been putting off. Chase the dream that's been buried under excuses. Growth happens when you stop feeding your wounds and start feeding your potential. Redirecting your energy doesn't mean you deny the pain. It means you decide that pain will not be the center of your life anymore. You acknowledge it, but you refuse to let it control you. Imagine what happens when you take all that intensity, the passion, the longing, the ache, and pour it into something constructive. Pain can fuel purpose. Suffering can ignite strength. The same energy that once kept you awake at night can be the fire that pushes you forward into a future you never thought possible. When you shift your focus, you begin to notice something incredible. You feel lighter. You start to see progress. Instead of being stuck in an endless loop of why me, you begin to experience the satisfaction of small wins, finishing a task, setting a new habit, reaching a goal you once thought was impossible while you were drowning in heartbreak. Growth gives you momentum, and momentum gives you hope. The truth is, you can't grow if you keep watering dead things. The relationship, the friendship, the situation that ended, it's gone. Stop feeding it your time, your attention, your tears. Instead, water yourself. Invest in the person you're becoming. Every time you choose growth over grief, you're telling yourself, I deserve more than what broke me. You will never regret the time you spend building yourself back up. Because one day you'll look back and realize the heartbreak that once threatened to destroy you actually became the fuel that rebuilt you. That is the power of redirecting your energy into growth. It transforms your pain into progress and your heartbreak into a foundation for a stronger, unshakable life. Moving on often feels like loss. It feels like giving up on something you once believed in, something you once fought for with all your heart. And because of that, many people hesitate. They stay in situations long after they've expired, holding on to broken pieces out of fear that letting go means defeat. But the truth is, moving on is not losing. It is winning. Walking away from what hurt you is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate sign of self-respect. When you choose to move on, you're not erasing the love you gave or the effort you put in. You're simply deciding that your future is worth more than staying chained to your past. That is not loss. That is wisdom. It is the courage to say, I deserve more than this. I deserve a life where I am not constantly breaking myself to hold on to something that isn't holding on to me. Moving on is not the end of your story. It's the turning point where everything begins to change. So many people think staying is strength, but sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. It takes bravery to step into the unknown, to rebuild, to start again when every part of you wants to cling to what's familiar. But familiarity is not the same as fulfillment. You don't win by staying where you're not valued, respected, or loved in the way you deserve. You win by choosing yourself, even if that means walking alone for a while. Think about it. If you keep holding on to something that's broken, your hands are too full to receive something better. Moving on clears the space. It makes room for new opportunities, new relationships, new beginnings that would never find you if you were still trapped in the past. You cannot step into your future if you're still standing in the ruins of yesterday. Letting go is not failure. It is choosing to rise. One day you will look back and realize that what felt like loss was actually liberation. That ending you cried over was the very thing that pushed you toward the life you were meant to live. You didn't lose, you won yourself back. You won your peace, your dignity, your strength, your freedom. Moving on is not about forgetting someone or something. It's about remembering who you are and finally stepping into the life you deserve. And that, more than anything, is victory. Every heartbreak carries a lesson, but it's up to you whether you let that lesson shape you or shatter you. You've acknowledged your pain. You've stopped romanticizing what broke you. You've chosen forgiveness for your own freedom. You've redirected your energy into growth. And now you understand that moving on is not losing, it's winning. All of this leads to one undeniable truth. You are stronger than the pain that tried to break you. Your heart is not defined by who hurt it or by what you lost. It is defined by your ability to rise, to heal, and to rebuild. The scars you carry are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. They are reminders that you can endure, that you can transform, that you can begin again. Moving on does not mean you forget. It means you choose not to let the past chain you anymore. It means you honor yourself enough to step into the unknown with faith that something better is waiting for you. Healing is not about erasing memories. It's about reclaiming your power from them. So don't sit in the ruins of what broke you. Don't waste another day waiting for someone else to give you closure. You are the closure. You are the answer. You are the turning point in your own story. Every ending is a chance to write a new beginning. And every heartbreak is an invitation to come back stronger, wiser, and more unshakable than before. This is your moment to choose. Will you keep letting your pain control you? Or will you take it, transform it, and use it as fuel to build the life you deserve? Remember this: the most powerful act of love you can ever give is the one you give yourself. The love that says, I am worth healing, I am worth moving on, and I am worth more than what broke me. Your heart will heal. Your life will grow. And when you finally step forward, leaving the past behind, you will realize you never truly lost. You only gained the chance to become who you were always meant to be.